I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Matt once again. Welcome back to another Patreon review. This is for Unconditional Prawn, who asked me to review the 1982 film Trapped. It also goes under the name Baker County, USA. Now first off, I want to thank him, Unconditional Prawn, for joining my Patreon. If anyone's ever interested in joining my Patreon, the link is down below. Or if anyone's ever interested in requesting a review or a video topic or anything, again, the PayPal link is down below if you're interested. If not, no worries. Now, Trapped, I can see why he recommended this to me for the Patreon request, because it's similar to films I've reviewed and enjoyed. Rituals. I love Rituals with Hal Holbrook. It's a 70s film where Hal Holbrook and a group of doctors go into the woods and they realize that some crazed guy is hunting them down one by one using wilderness tactics and so forth. Of course, Deliverance, which I've never been big on Deliverance, rest in peace Burt Reynolds, but Deliverance never really got me. There's other Burt Reynolds films I got into more, like Hooper, Smokey and the Bandit, and more, Sharky's Machine. Hunter's Blood, which I reviewed on here, which I didn't mind. I had some issues with it, but I didn't mind it. I would definitely say I liked it more than this one. And Southern Comfort. I love Southern Comfort. It's one of my favorite Walter Hill films with Keith Carradine. I believe it was Keith. It's one of the Carradines. Also had Powers Booth. May he rest in peace. I think he was Keith Carradine. But it had a great cast. Fred Ward was in it. Love Southern Comfort. And with all that said, this is trying to be another one of those wilderness type of movies where you have rednecks and some folks that don't belong. But I just wasn't a big fan of this movie. I really wasn't. I could not get into this movie at all. It was one of those films that it's just one of those films I saw and I went, very forgettable. The only thing I could say was memorable was Henry Silva's performance as the main villain, the main crazed redneck. And Henry Silva, if you don't know, he was the main bad guy in Above the Law with Steven Seagal. He was also the bad guy in the Chuck Norris film Code of Silence. Henry Silva's been in a few other stuff. He was in this underrated film called Alligator with Robert Forster. And Henry Silva gives a good performance, but that's really the only thing I can mention. Because the rest of the movie, there's not much to it. It's not, you don't have the solid direction and feel of the wilderness like you do in Southern Comfort. You don't have the suspense and strong lead like in Rituals. You don't have even the bits of blood, a little bit of gore that you had in Hunter's Blood. It just comes off as a fairly average, mediocre picture. The lead star is Nicholas Campbell, and you may remember him. Remember The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken? You had the killer that he finds, who is the deputy or whatever, Frank Dodd, who kills himself with the knife. scissors like that, the ritual suicide, whatever. That killer is the lead in this movie. And whether it was the acting or the writing, maybe it was the writing, he just wasn't really that... None of the characters of the good guys were really impressive to me. And four college students go up into the woods. They see Henry Silva killing this guy who he has tarred and feathered because the guy was sleeping with his wife. The kids go to the sheriff. Some of the cops want to do something, one of them doesn't, because you realize he's kin to Henry Silva's character. Stupidly, the kids go back, which they shouldn't, and they go into this cave, which they shouldn't. You should get the fuck out of Dodge. That's what common sense... What's that? It's called common sense. Knock on your door. And it's telling you, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Go the fuck home. Get laid. Go to sleep. But you want to have a movie. So they go in the cave. They find the dead body. And they get caught. One thing leads to another. I like the idea that some of the rednecks, they're not all for this. It's not 100% brain dead, kill them all rednecks. There's a little bit of friction with the group. Hey, this is immoral. What's going on here? Granted, they don't do a whole lot. But you just say stuff with words, but a lot of them don't do a lot. But one of them does and lets them go. And then they try to escape, and three of them get caught. And then Nicholas Campbell, he gets grabbed by the good rednecks. And again, they don't really do much other than tell him a little bit of stuff. But I'm thinking, really, it seems like the only people who are against this, you count on one hand. But there's like a dozen of you, and I think you guys have guns, so why don't you help the four students, or help the guy, have the guns, shoot them, or fuck them up, or, hey, you guys go and have a fist fight, or anything, and have a good day. But that's what I mean, like, they're against this, and even Henry Silva kills the one that helped him escape, and I forget if it's his wife, or... She gets pissed, but again, her and the others don't really do anything except they kind of leave. And for a good chunk of the movie, nothing much happens. It's the director is William Fruet, or Fruit, maybe it's Fruet, F-R-U-E-T. He did a film I enjoy called Blue Monkey, which is a take on a 50s monster movie, but it's set in a hospital with Steve Railsback. I like the blue tent lighting of the film. I like that it takes place in a hospital because it's unique for a monster movie to take place in a hospital. I like the design of the bug creature. Granted, it could not do a lot of movement-wise, but I thought it was aesthetically solid-looking creature for this big monster. And with its, even though it has its flaws, Blue Monkey I enjoy. I wish it would get a Blu-ray. Well, it might, but that's a whole nother story. Because it's like, well, you might get it, but you gotta maybe pay this $400 package and you can get all these other movies. I'm like, fuck the other movies, I just want Blue Monkey. No, you gotta get all these other movies and it's every month. Fuck you. Yeah, that's another thing. But I like that. This one, it's like they decided to save everything for the last 15 minutes. Because in the last 15 minutes, Henry Silva threatened to rape his girl, or I should say last 20 minutes. They threatened to rape his girl, but thankfully, they don't. Another one of their friends arrives, which I don't even remember this guy. Maybe he was at the beginning, but I don't remember him. I'm guessing he was. I just slipped my mind. He arrives in a car. Henry Silva chases him, shoots at him. The car rolls down, explodes, of course. It has to. If it's got to go downhill, it's got to explode. And meanwhile, the lead guy's trying to get his friends out. And granted, this is one of the more interesting kills I've seen, where a bad guy's shooting at him on a rooftop, and the lead slips, hits this antenna, and accidentally kills the bad guy by impaling it with a falling antenna. Like one of those big antennas. You know how in old movies you'd have the typical TV that has an antenna on it that they'd go, imagine a giant one of those on top of a building, and the guy's on the roof, slips, hits something, it swings like this, like a pendulum, and impales this guy. Granted, not too graphic, not too gory at all, but haven't seen that every day. Henry Silva gets back. They have a little bit of avoiding after Henry Silva drives through this building. That's what I mean, like they're saving all this stuff. I guess if you don't save for one, you guys save for the finale instead of blowing your load earlier. But I wish the rest of the film was more exciting or thrilling or suspenseful or... I don't even know what it was supposed to be. It kind of just stood there, and it didn't really have anything for atmosphere. It wasn't really scary. It wasn't creepy. It wasn't action-packed. It wasn't dramatic. The four students, nothing to the characters. At the very, very, very beginning, the lead guy is in class talking about it's never okay to have an act of murder. No matter how intense, you cannot justify taking someone's life. And then none of that is brought up for the entire fucking movie until, like I say, he's avoiding Henry Silva. Then he dumps his hot tar on Silva. And then, struggling with Henry Silva, throws a little lamp and sets Henry Silva on fire. There's explosive materials. Lead guy books it. The building explodes. Practical. Give credit. Not a downbeat ending. Not a sequel bait ending. All four kids survive. So it's not even a big body count. Really, the guy at the beginning, well, not the beginning, but the guy who's cheating on Henry Silva's woman at the beginning, he gets killed. Even the wife, I don't even remember what happened to the wife, now that I think about it. I'm sure they show what happened to her. I don't think she died. But you would think she would want to get involved in a finale to her husband's death. So something must have happened. I forgot. See, that's how little I was drawn into this movie, that I don't even remember one of the characters' fates. The wife of Henry Silva's character. I don't even remember. You get some titties. I like titties. Don't we all like titties? But there's plenty of other things to watch for titties. And more so. Squirt, squirt. If that's your preference or whatever. I'm not going to judge you. But then it finally brings back the whole pacifist. If I want to look at a movie that does that much better, I'm going to look at the Hills of Eyes remake with the character of Doug, which when I didn't shave my head, I kind of looked like Doug from the Hills of Eyes remake. That did a much better interpretation of a guy who's a pacifist. I know Straw Dogs did that, but I haven't seen that film in over a decade. I don't even remember the remake of Straw Dogs, but that's sort of the template it's taking. But I've seen many other films do that better. Here, it brings up at the beginning, really does nothing with it, and then dialogue we hear, oh yeah, in case you forgot that. And like I said, it's not a gory film. It's not that violent a film. It's not that action-packed film, except a couple stuff in the finale. Again, the falling antenna, impalement death, the little car chase, building explodes. Henry Silva did a solid job. That's really the only positive I can give it for Trapped. It's just with this kind of subgenre, there's many other better films in my opinion. There's Southern Comfort, there's Hunter's Blood, there's even Hunter's Blood, even that lead guy in that film I liked better than Nicholas Campbell here. He was kind of wooden or just average, below average, I would say below average. The other kids, I can't remember a single thing about their character or acting. The rest of the town, not even town, but redneck folk, average. Like I said, interesting that some of the 10 are not liking what Henry Silva is doing. But then I'm going, but you aren't doing anything. You guys have guns too. Do something. Or give the guy a fucking gun or something. Do something. One guy does, and then he gets killed by Henry Silva, so I guess you're supposed to assume they're too afraid. But I'm going, if you all do it at the same time, around Henry Silva's sorry character's ass, with guns, he ain't gonna do shit. He can have one gun, but if you have 5 guns, do something. Or bow and arrows, or sharp sticks. So, I'm not going to repeat myself. That's a bad habit I do when I do reviews. Positive, Henry Silva. Couple of little stuff at the finale, the last 15 minutes. It's just a very pedestrian, by the numbers, kind of boring. Characters I'm either indifferent or don't give much of an iota of shit about. Nicholas Campbell, whether the writing or acting, made for a very tepid lead. The music, I don't remember a damn thing about the music. There wasn't any interesting dialogue I can remember. There wasn't really any... I pretty much told you the entire movie, and that's all that happens, and it's not suspenseful, it's not exciting, it's not thrilling, it's not scary, it's not that violent compared to, say, Hunter's Blood. I already mentioned the rituals. This isn't the same type of movie, but even Just Before Dawn had more going for it to this. Even wilderness slasher films. This isn't a slasher film, but I'm just films in the wilderness. Whether it be dealing with mutants like Wrong Turn or... Hell, even Don't Go in the Woods, I can laugh at and get more enjoyment of how funny and how terribly hilarious it is. Here is just forgettable. Very forgettable. That's the best word. Other than Henry Silva's performance, it was for free on YouTube, which was cool. I apologize on additional prawn. It's sorry if folks are a fan of this movie. That's cool. It's just I've seen so much better. It was cool to see Henry Silva from Above the Law, Code of Silence, but I did just watch those for him being a villain. This one, not much else I can say. So, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys in the next video. Later.